January 16, 2026, 5:47 a.m., Pacific coast of Colombia. 80 U.S. Marines sit in amphibious assault vehicles 2 miles offshore from a beach that doesn't appear on tourist maps. A beach controlled by one of Colombia's most violent drug cartels. A beach defended by 90 armed fighters with machine guns, mortars, and RPGs. A beach that's about to become the site of the first U.S. combat amphibious landing since Iraq in 2003. In 18 minutes, those vehicles will hit the beach under heavy fire. In 3 hours, 34 cartel fighters will be dead, 6 Marines will be wounded, and 12 tons of cocaine worth $600 million will be seized. But those numbers don't tell the real story. Because what happens on that beach isn't just about Marines versus cartels. It's about why American military is conducting combat landings on friendly nations' soil, and what that means for the future of the drug war. The beach is called Playa Escondida, Hidden Beach. Accurate name, surrounded by dense jungle. No roads, no trails, only accessible by sea or air. The cartel chose it specifically for that isolation. Built a major cocaine transshipment point. Speedboats arrive from processing labs inland. Unload cocaine. Load onto larger vessels. Ship to Central America and Mexico. Eventually to United States. The beach processes an estimated 20 tons monthly. Street value over $1 billion. Colombian military knew about it. Everyone knew. But accessing it meant crossing 50 miles of cartel-controlled jungle or conducting amphibious assault from sea. Colombian Navy lacked the capability, lacked the training, lacked the equipment. The beach operated untouched for 3 years, shipped hundreds of tons, made the cartel rich, made interdiction impossible, until the United States decided impossible wasn't acceptable. The operation was authorized at the highest levels. U.S. President, Colombian President, joint operation. American Marines would conduct the assault. Colombian forces would provide support. The precedent was massive. American combat troops conducting offensive operations on Latin American soil. Not since Panama in 1989. Not since the era of gunboat diplomacy. This was different. This was requested, authorized, coordinated, but still controversial, still unprecedented, still historic. The planning took 6 weeks. Satellite imagery, drone surveillance, intelligence from informants. The beach defenses were mapped, 90 fighters identified, weapons catalogued, machine gun positions marked, mortar locations noted. The cartel had built fortifications, bunkers, trenches, overlapping fields of fire. They'd prepared for assault, expected it eventually, built defenses accordingly. The beach wasn't just guarded, it was fortified. It was ready. The Marines trained for 2 weeks. Amphibious assault tactics, beach landing procedures, combat under fire, coordination with air support, everything rehearsed, practiced, perfected. They used similar beach in California, replicated the defenses, practiced the approach, timed everything, planned everything, prepared for everything, except the reality that no plan survives first contact with enemy. Captain James Rodriguez commanded Alpha Company, 80 Marines, divided into 4 platoons, 20 Marines each platoon in separate amphibious vehicle, AAV-7, armored, armed, capable of carrying troops from ship to shore, through water, onto beach, under fire. The vehicles were the key, protected Marines during approach, provided firepower during landing, served as mobile cover during initial assault. Without them, the landing would be suicide. With them, It was merely extremely dangerous. At 5:30 a.m., the vehicles launched from USS Somerset, an amphibious transport dock ship positioned 10 miles offshore. The vehicles formed line, separated by 50 yards, moved toward shore at 8 knots. Dawn was breaking, visibility improving. The element of surprise was minimal. The cartel would see them coming, would have minutes to prepare, minutes to man weapons, minutes to aim, minutes to wait, then minutes to die. Stay with me, because what happens in the next 12 minutes, from launch to landing, reveals why amphibious assault is the most dangerous military operation, and why Marines train their entire careers for moments like this. At 5:42 a.m., the vehicles were 1 mile from shore. Rodriguez could see the beach through binoculars. Deserted. No visible defenders. No movement. Nothing. It looked abandoned. That was impossible. Intelligence confirmed 90 fighters. Recent drone footage showed activity. The cartel was there, hiding, waiting, preparing ambush. The empty beach was trap. Invitation to approach, get closer, get vulnerable, then strike. Rodriguez keyed his radio. All stations actual. Beach appears empty. This is deliberate deception. Expect ambush at close range. Maintain formation. Weapons hot. Prepare for immediate contact on approach. How copy? 4 acknowledgements, each platoon leader confirming, understanding, ready. The Marines in the vehicles checked weapons, M4 rifles, M240 machine guns, M203 grenade launchers. Each vehicle had 50 caliber machine gun on top, operated from inside, protected by armor. The vehicles themselves were weapons platforms, could deliver devastating fire while protecting, but only if they survived the approach. At 5:45 a.m., the vehicles were 400 yards from shore. Still no visible defenders. The beach remained empty. Rodriguez's instincts screamed warning. This was wrong. Too quiet. Too empty. The cartel should have opened fire by now. Should have tried to stop the landing while vehicles were in water. Most vulnerable. Unable to maneuver well. Unable to take cover. But nothing. Just calm water and empty beach. And the certainty that at 5:47 a.m., 200 yards from shore, the beach erupted. Machine guns from multiple positions. PKM, M60, heavy automatic fire. The vehicles were bracketed, water churning from impacts, rounds hitting armor, sparking, ricocheting. The ambush had been perfectly timed. Wait until close. Committed. Until turning back was as dangerous as continuing. Then strike with overwhelming fire. The Marines returned fire immediately. 50 caliber machine guns hammering, each vehicle engaging different targets, suppressing, destroying. The range was close. The machine gun positions were visible now, muzzle flashes marking locations. The vehicle's guns walked fire across the positions. 150 yards, 100 yards. The cartel fire intensified. RPGs launched. Rockets streaking toward vehicles. Missing. Hitting water. Creating huge splashes. Close but not close enough. The RPG gunners weren't trained. Weren't military. Just criminals with weapons they barely knew how to use. At 5:49 a.m., the first vehicle hit the beach. Ramp dropped. Marines poured out. Immediate fire. Intense fire. The beach was a kill zone. Pre-sighted, pre-registered. The cartel had every inch mapped, knew exactly where to shoot. The Marines took cover behind the vehicle, returned fire, pushed forward. Training took over. Years of preparation condensed into seconds of action. Move, shoot, communicate, survive. The second vehicle landed, then third, then fourth. 80 Marines on the beach. The cartel had positioned fighters in jungle tree line, in bunkers on beach, in elevated positions on rocks, overlapping fire, coordinated movements. These weren't random criminals. This was organized military resistance, trained, disciplined, deadly. Rodriguez assessed the tactical situation. His Marines were pinned on the beach, limited cover, taking fire from multiple directions. The vehicles provided some protection, but couldn't advance inland. Too open, too exposed. The Marines needed to break through the defensive line, get into the jungle, close with the enemy. Turn this into close quarters combat where training mattered more than positioning. But getting there meant crossing 50 yards of open beach under concentrated fire. He made the call. All platoons, advance by fire and movement. First and third platoons suppress. Second and fourth platoons advance. On my command, execute. The beach became chaos. Half the Marines laying down suppressive fire, the other half rushing forward. 10 yards, drop, return fire, next group moves. Leapfrog tactics. Textbook. But textbook doesn't account for volume of fire, doesn't account for enemy who won't break, won't retreat, will fight and die on the beach because they know capture means life in American prison. At 5:53 a.m., 6 minutes into the assault, the first Marine was hit. Corporal Jake Morrison took a round to his plate carrier. The ceramic plate stopped it, but the impact knocked him down, stunned him. His teammates pulled him back. Combat medic checked him. Bruised ribs. No penetration. He was lucky. He went back to fighting. No time for recovery. No time for rest. Just survival and mission. The Marines reached the tree line. First squad, then second. Close quarters combat. Room clearing in jungle. The cartel fighters were there. Some surrendered, raised hands, dropped weapons. Others fought, fired from close range. The Marines engaged. Professional, controlled, lethal. This was their training. This was their expertise. Close combat, split-second decisions, life and death in inches and milliseconds. At 6:02 a.m., 15 minutes into the assault, Rodriguez called for air support. Hammer 1-1, this is Alpha Actual. We have hostiles in the jungle. Grid coordinates follow. Danger close. Request gun runs on marked positions. Hammer 1-1 was AC-130 gunship, orbiting offshore, waiting for this call. The pilot acknowledged. Alpha Actual, Hammer 1-1. Copy coordinates. Beginning gun run. 30 seconds. Mark your positions with IR strobes. Stay low. The Marines activated IR strobes, visible only to aircraft with night vision, marking friendly positions. The AC-130 came in. The 40mm Bofors cannon fired. The sound was distinctive, rhythmic thumping, each round exploding in the jungle. The cartel positions were systematically destroyed. The gunship could see through the canopy with thermal imaging, see the heat signatures, distinguish combatants from Marines, eliminate threats with surgical precision. The cartel defense collapsed. The surviving fighters fled deeper into jungle or tried to surrender. The beach was secured. The tree line was cleared. The Marines pushed inland, securing the compound, the speedboats, the cocaine, the objective. 3 hours from landing to complete control. 3 hours of combat, 3 hours that would be analyzed for years. At 8:47 a.m., the operation was complete. Beach secured. Compound captured. 34 cartel fighters killed. 18 captured. The rest escaped into jungle or were already dead in positions the AC-130 had destroyed. 6 Marines wounded, none seriously. all would return to duty. 0 fatalities. Textbook assault. Perfect execution. Complete success. But here's what the after-action reports couldn't capture. Here's what the statistics don't show. Here's what those 3 hours really meant. Not just for this operation, but for the entire drug war. The compound revealed its secrets. 12 tons of cocaine, packaged, ready to ship. Street value $600 million. 6 speedboats, modified for drug running. Equipment worth millions, but also documents, computers, phones, intelligence goldmine, names, routes, contacts, distribution networks, financial records. Everything needed to dismantle not just this operation, but the entire cartel structure. The captured cartel fighters talked. Not all, but some. They explained the beach's importance, explained the network, explained why 90 fighters defended it, because losing this beach meant losing primary export route, meant disrupting operations for months, meant losing hundreds of millions in revenue. The cartel had known assault was possible, had prepared, had fortified, had thought 90 men with machine guns could stop 80 Marines. They'd been wrong, because 90 criminals with weapons aren't 90 soldiers. They don't have the training, the discipline, the coordination. They have courage and desperation, but courage and desperation lose to training and overwhelming firepower. Every time, the cartel learned that lesson on January 16th, learned it in blood, in death, in capture, in complete defeat. But the real lesson wasn't tactical. It was strategic. The United States had conducted combat amphibious landing on Latin American soil in 2026 against drug cartels with host nation approval, setting precedent, establishing capability, demonstrating will. This wasn't DEA raid. This wasn't advisory mission. This was military combat operation. Offensive, aggressive, successful, and repeatable. Other cartels noticed. Other beaches suddenly seemed vulnerable. Other untouchable locations suddenly looked accessible. Because if Marines could take Playa Escondida, could defeat 90 defenders, could conduct 3-hour assault and seize 12 tons of cocaine, then nowhere was safe. No position was impregnable. No defenses were sufficient. That's the real victory of January the 16th. Not the 34 killed, not the 12 tons seized, not even the $600 million denied to cartels, but the message, the demonstration, the precedent. That American military will conduct combat operations against cartels, will use amphibious assault, will employ gunships, will bring overwhelming force, will win decisively, and will do it again if necessary. Captain Rodriguez received Bronze Star for leading the assault. His Marines received Combat Action Ribbons. The AC-130 crew received Air Medals. Colombian forces who provided support received recognition. Everyone involved was honored, because everyone contributed to historic operation. First combat amphibious landing in 23 years. First against drug cartels. First in Colombia. First of what might become many. The beach is still there. Empty now. Abandoned. The compound burned. The speedboats seized. The cocaine destroyed. Colombian forces maintain presence. Prevent reoccupation. But the jungle is taking back the beach. Nature reclaiming what violence briefly controlled. In a year, the fortifications will be ruins. In 5 years, jungle will have erased evidence, but the memory remains. The precedent remains. The message remains. That on January 16, 2026, 80 U.S. Marines stormed a beach defended by 90 cartel fighters and won. decisively, completely, demonstrating that no cartel position is secure, no defenses are adequate, no amount of fighters changes the outcome. Marines come ashore with purpose and support. The beach proved it. The casualties proved it. The 12 tons of seized cocaine proved it. Rodriguez still serves, still commands Marines, still trains for next operation. Because Playa Escondida wasn't last beach, won't be only landing. Other locations exist. Other cartels operate. Other beaches will need assaulting, and Marines will be ready. They trained for it, planned for it, executed it perfectly once, can do it again, will do it again. Because the drug war evolved, from law enforcement to military operation, from arrest to combat assaults, from defensive to offensive. An amphibious landing is now a tool in the arsenal. The 6 Marines wounded on January 16th recovered. All returned to duty. All participated in subsequent operations. The wounds were badges, proof of combat, evidence of service. They wear them with pride, with honor, with understanding that they participated in historic operation, that they were part of 80 Marines who accomplished what 90 cartel fighters thought impossible, who landed under fire, who fought through defenses, who secured the beach, who won. That's the legacy of Playa Escondida. Not just one successful operation, but proof of concept, demonstration of capability, warning to cartels, promise to America that Marines can do this, will do this, have done this, and the outcome is certain. The beach will be taken. The defenders will be defeated. The cocaine will be seized. The mission will succeed. Because training defeats desperation. Discipline defeats courage. Military force defeats criminal resistance. Every time. Without exception. Without mercy. Without doubt. January 16th, 2026 proved it. 80 Marines proved it. 3 hours of combat proved it. 34 dead cartel fighters proved it. 12 tons of cocaine proved it. And every cartel in Colombia knows it now. Knows that beaches aren't safe. That defenses aren't enough. That 90 fighters won't stop Marines. That nothing stops Marines when they come from the sea with purpose and fire support and training and determination. That's amphibious assault. That's Marine Corps expertise. That's what happens when the United States decides to take a beach. The beach is taken. The defenders are killed or captured. The objective is secured in 3 hours, with 6 wounded, with 0 fatalities, with complete success. And the only question remaining is which beach is next, which cartel position needs assaulting, which impregnable location needs Marines landing at dawn with weapons hot and purpose clear. Because Playa Escondida isn't the end. It's the beginning, the first of what could be many, the proof that amphibious assault works against cartels, that fortifications don't matter, that numbers don't matter, that only training and firepower and Marines matter. And when those elements combine, when 80 Marines hit the beach, when AC-130 provides cover, when the assault is coordinated and executed and completed, the outcome is certain. The beach is taken. The cartel loses. The drugs are seized. The message is sent. America will come from the sea, will land under fire, will fight through defenses, will win decisively, and will do it again, whenever necessary, wherever required, against whoever defends. That's the truth from January 16th. That's the legacy of Playa Escondida. That's what 3 hours of combat on Colombian beach really means. Not just tactical victory, strategic message, historic precedent, future warning, Marines can assault defended beaches, will assault defended beaches, have assaulted defended beaches, and win. Always. Decisively. Completely. 34 dead, 18 captured, 12 tons seized, 6 Marines wounded, 0 fatalities, 3 hours, 1 beach. Historic operation. Complete success. And the question isn't whether it worked. The question is where it happens next. Which cartel? Which beach? Which dawn will bring amphibious vehicles full of Marines coming ashore under fire to take what cartels thought was untouchable? Because nothing is untouchable. No position is impregnable. No defense is adequate. When Marines come from the sea, when gunships provide cover, when training meets desperation, the outcome is certain. The beach falls, the cartel loses, the mission succeeds. January the 16th proved it. Playa Escondida demonstrated it. 80 Marines accomplished it, and history records it. As the day Amphibious assault returned to American military operations, not against nations, against cartels, not in war zones, in Colombia, not in distant lands, in the Western Hemisphere, bringing the drug war to beaches cartels thought were safe, proving they were wrong, demonstrating force, seizing victory, and warning everyone watching, Marines are coming from the sea at dawn, and your beach is next.